sì di rédíò yín láti tún jẹ gbádùn àwọn àjàbalẹ̀ ìròyìn eléyìí tí a ti dìjọ wá sórí ètò fún títí tòwúrọ̀ yìí. Bí ẹ ṣe mọ̀ pé abala àkọ́kọ́ ni abala tí a ti máa ń gbé yẹ̀wò àwọn ìròyìn eléyìí tí ó ṣẹlulẹ̀ ní ẹ̀ka òṣèlú, ètò ọrọ̀ ajé àti wọn lọ́wọ́ ní abala amúlùúdùn àti àwọn ibi tó ṣe kókó míì. Abala eré ìdárayá kò yọ abala náà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ò yọ sílẹ̀. Abala kejì náà ni abala tí a ó sì máa gbé kókó gbòógì ọ̀rọ̀ kan yẹ̀wò tí ẹ̀yin ọlọ́gbọ́n dorí ẹja mọ́ ẹ̀dá tí ẹ ó máa bá wa dá sí ètò tí a ó dìjọ mọ́ fi ọ̀rọ̀ tá a fi mọ́ jomitoro ọ̀rọ̀. Àwa méjì náà ni àdìjọ wá sóde ètò fún tòní. Orúkọ tèmi ni Abídèmí Ọ̀dẹ́rínú, tẹ́nì kejì mi ni
Abíọ́dún. Bàbá díà tún kí yín ẹ kú ojúmọ́ ẹ sì tún kú ojúmọ́ mọ́ ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò kayegbo fún tààrọ̀ òní. Lábala kejì ètò yìí ó ní a ti jọ ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò ọ̀rọ̀ kan gbòógì eléyìí tí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo arákùnrin Rotimi Akeredolu tí ó fi bu ẹnu àtẹ́ lù bí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí ti lòdì ìkọlù àwọn karambání ẹ̀dá tí wọ́n ṣèkọlù sí ilé ìjọsìn kátólíìkì kan nílùú Ọ̀wọ̀ ní ọjọ́ ìsinmi tó kọjá mọ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ ikọ̀ sùmọ̀mí ISWAP tí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo náà sì ké sí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí láti sún gbàjà rẹ̀ wípé kó ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ètò àwọn iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ àti ríró àjọ àwọn àmọ̀tẹ́kùn lágbára sí i láti lè bá lè kojú àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ karambání ẹ̀dá tó ń ṣèkọlù sí ọmọnìyàn láwùjọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Ojú wo lẹ fi wo ọ̀rọ̀ àti àrọwà gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo? Ǹjẹ́ èyí gan lè jẹ́ ọ̀nà àbáyọ sí ìkọlù lábàdì léyìí tí àwọn ẹni bí ṣe sáwọn èèyàn orílẹ̀-èdè yìí? Tó bá tàkókò àtàrí nọ́mbà léyìí tẹ́ fi ló já sórí ètò sọ́dọ̀ yín, ṣùgbọ́n kó tó dásìkò ọ̀hún ẹ jẹ́ á máwọn kókó tó wà ní ìròyìn tàdíwá fún gbádùn yín lọ́rọ̀ yìí wá sí tìgbọ̀yìn náà. Ó yá gbéralẹ̀.
Ní báyìí tí ọ̀wàrà ọ̀rọ̀ ìkíni kú oríire tó ń rọ̀ bí òjò fún aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu ní bó ṣe jáwé olúborí níbi ètò ìdìbò abẹ́lé ààrẹ ní ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà, ilé tí ó mú kó lọ ṣojú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress níbi ètò ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ọdún 2023. Ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC nípínlẹ̀ Anambra àwọn náà mọ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ o, wọ́n ránṣẹ́ ìkíni kú oríire sí aṣíwájú Tinubu tí wọ́n sì sọ pé ó kú ewu àjàyè láì farakan omi.
Bí iṣẹ́ ìkíni kú oríire ti ń wọlé lọ́tún lọ́sì fún aṣíwájú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC tó di olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà báyìí, olùdíje ọ̀hún aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ti ń wọ̀yẹ̀wò pàdé o pẹ̀lú àwọn tí wọ́n dìjọ takàngbọ̀n láti jìjàgùdù fún dídúpọ̀ ààrẹ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà.
Ẹ má gbà wọ́n jàǹdùkú láàyè nílùú Ìbàdàn. Èmi kan mo sọ èyí, Olúbàdàn ti ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn ló pàrọwà yìí fún sẹ́nẹ́tọ̀ Ládọjà àtàwọn míì.
Ọ̀rọ̀ mà tó ti sọ atayanyan fẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú Africa Action Congress lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí pẹ̀lú bó ti jẹ́ wípé olùdíje méjì ló jáde fún ipò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ọ̀hún lọ̀rọ̀ bá di kàyà fáwọn adarí ẹgbẹ́ náà.
Lẹ́yìn oṣù méjìdínlógún tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí ṣí ẹnu ìloro sẹ̀mẹ̀padà ṣe ní fàyàwọ́ ṣíṣe ń peléke sí i bí ẹkùn àpọ̀kọ̀jẹ. Ẹ
padà ẹ mọ́ lọ́dẹ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńlú Ọ̀wọ̀ mọ́ iṣẹ́ ikọ̀ ISWAP lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí o. Gómìnà Rotimi Akeredolu tọ́ka bí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí ti lọ́ka rẹ̀ mọ́ ikọ̀ sùmọ̀mí náà. Ó ní ohun tó yẹ kíjọba ilẹ̀ yìí kó tún ṣe kóró ikọ̀ àmọ̀tẹ́kùn lágbára sí ni.
Lórí àwọn tó bẹ́ sílẹ̀ láwọn agbègbè kan nípínlẹ̀ Adamawa èyí tó mú ẹ̀mí àwọn èèyàn kan lọ, àwọn agbófinró ní sọ̀rísọ̀rí wọ́n mọ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n gúnlẹ̀ síbẹ̀ o láti bomi paná rògbòdìyàn ọ̀hún.
Ní kíni ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà 20 náírà péré là ń ra àwọn aṣọ tó jẹ́ tọmọ ogun orílẹ̀-èdè yìí o láti fi ṣe ẹ̀láàbí ọ̀kan lára àwọn ògúùkù ajínigbé nílẹ̀ yìí ló ká bòròbòrò bẹ́ẹ̀.
ọwọ́ pálábọ̀ ọ̀kan lára àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ kólẹ̀kódọ̀tí mọ̀ ṣégi o lásìkò tí ọwọ́ ikọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó tẹ̀ tí ọ̀daràn ọ̀hún tí eléyìí tí wọ́n sọ pé ó ń béèrè fún mílíọ̀nù náírà owó ìdásílẹ̀ èyí tó mú kí ó gbé fọ́nrán kan síta àṣé irọ́ lọ̀rọ̀ wọn.
lórí báwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ilé asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí ti ń fapá jánu tí wọ́n sì ń wo sẹ́ràn tọkọ̀ láti wọ iṣẹ́ láti ọjọ́ ajé ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí olórí ilé asòfin àgbà ilẹ̀ yìí sẹ́nẹ́tọ̀ Ahmed Lawal jókòó pàdé o pẹ̀lú àwọn adarí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ nílé asòfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí.
ilé-ẹjọ́ gíga ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó kalẹ̀ sílùú Ìlọrin pàṣẹ pé kí ìjọba gba ọ̀kan lára dúkìá ọ̀dọ́langba kan nípínlẹ̀ Kwara tó jẹ́ alújìbìtì orí ìtàkùn ayélujára.
ìwọ̀nyí àtàwọn ìròyìn míì òun la dìwà fún gbádùn yín àmọ́ ká tó mọ̀ sí láwàwẹ̀ ẹ̀já dókè lọ́nà àbọ̀.
ó ti yá ní Global Leaders Academy gbogbo ọmọ lóròyìn bó ṣe yàtọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ aṣíwájú Global Leaders Academy làwọn ọmọ ń fẹ́.
ẹ káàbọ̀ sí Global Leaders Academy iléèwé tó yàtọ̀ gédéǹgbé nílànà ìgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ láti crèche wọ nursery dé primary school ló mọ́yán lórí secondary level wọn náà ṣe fi yan gan torí ọpọlọ pípé ni wọ́n fi gbé kalẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn olùkọ́ tó mọ̀tì fún tẹ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ dé góńgó ibùgbé àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ rẹ̀ bí ilé ìtura pẹ̀lú ààbò tó dájú àtàwọn oríṣiríṣi nǹkan mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wù ní kọ́ àgàgà tẹ́ bá dé laboratory wọn àyà àtijọ́ sì tún bẹ nílànà tẹ́ bá ń fẹ́ ẹ̀yẹn débẹ̀ lónìí kẹ́ ẹ lọ ṣèwádìí ẹ rí i pé egun jẹ́gun lọ ní tòótọ́ àbájọ táwọn òbí tó ń fẹ́ quality education ṣe ń kọ́ ọmọ rẹ bẹ̀ ní wìtìwìtì mọ́tò gidi wà fáwọn tí ò bá gbénu ọgbà excursion tún bẹ fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lóòrèkóòrè Global Leaders Academy wà ní plot 1 A&B Oroki Estate Lameko Junction Òṣogbo telephone 0815-928-0037 at Global Leaders Academy we are not led we lead and always a leader.
ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress nípínlẹ̀ Anambra ti ránṣẹ́ ìkíni kú oríire sí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó tẹ́lẹ̀ rí tó tún jẹ́ aṣáájú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC nílẹ̀ yìí Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu fún bó ṣe jáwé olúborí níbi ètò ìdìbò abẹ́lé ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀hún fún ti yàn sípò olùdíje ẹgbẹ́ náà níbi ètò ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ààrẹ ilẹ̀ yìí èyí tí yóò wáyé lọ́dún 2023 nínú àtẹ̀jáde tí akọ̀wé ètò polongo ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀hún nípínlẹ̀ náà Òkèlò Mádùkéfè ló ti jẹyọ pé àṣeyọrí ńláńlá ló padà jẹ́ ti Aṣíwájú Tinubu níbi ètò ìdìbò abẹ́lé ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀hún èyí tó wáyé lólùlù ilẹ̀ yìí Àbújá èyí tí wọ́n fi yan ọmọ oyè tí yóò dúró níbi ètò ìdìbò ọdún tó ń bọ̀ Mádùkéfè ṣàpèjúwe gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ rí nípínlẹ̀ Èkó ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọlọ́pọlọ pípín ẹ̀dá tó jẹ́ pé àkàìmọye ìrírí ló ní tẹ́lẹ̀ yìí sì jẹ́ ohun tó ṣeyebíye láyé àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà kò ṣàìmẹ́nubà pé bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ìdá 95% làwọn èèyàn tó dìbò fún Aṣíwájú Tinubu ó ní síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ púpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ọ̀hún ló sọ pé ti olóyè Bọ́lá Tinubu òun làwọn ò ṣe o bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn sì tún jẹ dòdò rẹ̀ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tó tún sọ ló ti tún bun àwọn èèyàn lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ tó sì tún bọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ lójú tòrò pé orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tó jẹ́ ilẹ̀ tó ń sàn fún wàrà àti fún oyin làwọn adarí tó láfojúsùn wà àtàwọn tó gbangba sùn lọ́yẹ tí èròǹgbà wọn máa ń ṣe wẹ́kí ní gbogbo ìgbà ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ló sọ pé àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ náà kò ní tẹ̀tì láti jẹ́ kí Aṣíwájú Tinubu kí ó jáwé olúborí níbi ètò ìdìbò tí yóò wáyé bákan náà ló wá gbà ládùúrà pé kí Elédùmarè kí ó jẹ́ kí àṣeyọrí ọ̀hún kó ṣojú gbogbo wọn.
gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìkíni kú oríire ti ń wọlé lọ́tún lọ́sì fún olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC tó tún ti fìgbà kan rí jẹ́ gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu olùdíje ọ̀hún ò túrálẹ̀ o pẹ̀lú bó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gòlé kíkàn sí àwọn tí wọ́n dìjọ ta kàngbọ̀n jà fún tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì àti lè jẹ́ olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí lẹ́yìn tá a ti rí igbákejì ààrẹ ilẹ̀ yìí ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Ọ̀ṣínbàjò lẹ́yìn tí olùdíje ọ̀hún aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ti kàn sí lọ́fíìsì bẹ́ẹ̀ ló tún ti lọ wọ̀yẹ̀wò pàdé pẹ̀lú gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi ọ̀gbẹ́ni Yàyà Bello. Ìròyìn jẹ́ kó di mọ́ wípé àwọn kíkàn síra ẹni lẹ́yìn tí aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu ṣe yìí ló wà lára àti lè jẹ́ kí ó pẹ̀tù sọ́kàn gbogbo àwọn tó lè mọ fapájánu lẹ́yìn tí ìdìbò abẹ́nú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC ọ̀hún wáyé tán tí wọ́n sì kéde rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Ìròyìn jẹ́ kó di mọ́ wípé olóyè Tinubu làwọn gómìnà kan bíi ọ̀gbẹ́ni Babájídé Sanwó-Olú ti ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Zamfara Bello Matawalle àti Abdullahi Ganduje tó jẹ́ gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kano náà bá kọ́wọ́rìn lọ síbi ìpàdé ọ̀hún. Ọ̀rọ̀ náà kò tún yọ gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Edo tó tún ti fìgbà kan rí jẹ́ alága ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC nílẹ̀ yìí Comrade Adams Oshiomhole pẹ̀lú àwọn ìkan ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC lẹ́yìn míì sílẹ̀ níbi àbẹ̀wò ọ̀hún. Bákan náà ló ń tó dájú sáká ní wípé gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Èkó náà tó ti di olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ ẹgbẹ́ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC nílẹ̀ yìí ló ti ń fojú sọ́nà báyìí láti wo ẹni tí yóò jẹ́ igbákejì rẹ̀ tí wọ́n dìjọ díje láti jàgùdù fún ipò ààrẹ lọ́dún tó ń bọ̀ fún ti ìdìbò àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí.
tán nígbà tí wọ́n kúrò lórí ìròyìn ìkíni kú oríire ọ̀hún ó lè mí bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo bá gúnlẹ̀ sọ́dọ̀ Olúbàdàn ti ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. iyùn ni ọba Lẹ́kan Balógun ó ti rọ gbogbo àwọn olóyè àgbà titun èyí tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gba ìgbéga láti dẹ́kun gbígba àwọn oníjàǹdùkú àtàwọn ọ̀daràn míì láàyè láti ya wọ ìlú Ìbàdàn. Olúbàdàn ẹni tí Ọ̀tún Balógun ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn olóyè Tajudeen Ajíbọ́lá ṣojú fún ló sọ èyí di mímọ̀ níbi ètò ìyànsípò èyí tí wọ́n fi fún àwọn olóyè àgbà ọ̀hún ní ìgbéga èyí tó wáyé ní ìlú Ìbàdàn. lára àwọn olóyè àgbà tuntun tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fún ní ìgbéga ọ̀hún láti rí sẹ́nẹ́tọ̀ Rashidi Ládọjà láti òsì Olúbàdàn sí ipò Ọ̀tún Olúbàdàn, olóyè àgbà Eddie Oyèwọlé láti àṣepa Olúbàdàn sí ipò òsì Olúbàdàn, olóyè àgbà Abíọ́dún Kọ́lá dáìsí láti ẹ̀kẹrin Olúbàdàn sí ipò àṣepa Olúbàdàn, olóyè àgbà Hamidu Salaudeen Ajibade láti ipò ẹ̀karùn Olúbàdàn sí ipò ẹ̀kẹrin Olúbàdàn àti Adébáyọ̀ Àkàndé láti abẹ́sẹ̀ Olúbàdàn sí ipò ẹ̀karùn Olúbàdàn ti ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. olóyè àgbà Ajíbọ́lá wá rọ àwọn olóyè àgbà titun tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fún ní ìgbéga ọ̀hún láti rí dájú pé wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ wọn bí iṣẹ́ àti wípé kí wọ́n má jẹ́ kí okùn ètò àti pé kí wọ́n máa jẹ́ kí okùn ètò ààbò ilẹ̀ yìí kó túbọ̀ máa rotótó sí i tó fi mọ́ gbígba àlàáfíà àti ìdùnnú láàyè láwùjọ wọn. ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ló rọ̀ wọ́n láti jẹ́ ojúlá alákọ̀ọ́fin sọrí kí wọ́n sì máa gbìyànjú wá ojútùú sí àwọn tó bá kù díẹ̀ káàtó láwùjọ. ó ní kí wọ́n má ṣe gba èyíkéyìí onísùmọ̀mí, oníjàǹdùkú tàbí agbébọn láàyè yálà Fúlàní darandaran tó ti di dáràndáràn tàbí àwọn amòòkùnṣèkà míì kí wọ́n sì máa jẹ́ kí wọ́n má ṣiṣẹ́ jẹ́ kí etí àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò kò dì sí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lágbègbè kó wa wọn.
lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn karambà ní ẹ̀dá tí wọ́n ṣèkọlù sínú ìjọ St. Francis Catholic Church tó wà nílùú Ọ̀wọ̀ ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ọ̀wọ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ondo lẹ́nu lọ́lọ́ yìí, gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo arákùnrin Rotimi Akeredolu ti ṣàpèjúwe bíjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí ti súré bóde láti sọ wípé ikọ̀ ISWAP tó jẹ́ ikọ̀ sùmọ̀mí ló wà nídìí ìkọlù ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí èyí tó ti yájú wípé ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí dàbí ẹni pé kò ṣe ìwádìí dáadáa lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìkọlù náà tó sì jáde wípé ikọ̀ ISWAP ló wà nídìí ìkọlù ọ̀hún. gómìnà Akérédolú lásìkò tó ń gbàlejò ikọ̀ àwọn ẹlẹ́sìn kìrìsìtẹ́nì kan láti ilẹ̀ òkèrè tá a mọ̀ sí Christian Solidarity International ní gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo náà ní ṣáájú ní àlàáfíà àti ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ tí ń jọba lápá ìwọ̀ oòrùn gúúsù ilẹ̀ yìí kó tó wá di wípé àwọn karambà ní ẹ̀dá náà wá pàkúta sọ̀rọ̀ àlàáfíà apá ìlà oòrùn gúúsù orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi. Ó ní ikọ̀ sùnmọ̀mí iswap tó ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí tọ́ka sí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó wà nídìí ìkọlù tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú ọ̀wọ̀ náà ló jẹ́ wípé ikọ̀ sùnmọ̀mí ọ̀hún a máa yọ sí bọ́ńbọ́ lórí èyíkéyìí ìkọlù tó bá mọwọ́ mẹsẹ̀ nídìí rẹ̀ tí kì í sì fi bò wípé òun ló wà nídìí ìkọlù ọ̀hún. Ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo náà wá ké sí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí láti sánà àgbékalẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ríró àwọn ọmọ ikọ̀ àmọ̀tẹ́kùn lágbára sí i láti lè kojú irúfẹ́ àwọn karambà ní ẹ̀dá náà tí wọ́n ń ṣèkọlù lábàdì sáwọn èèyàn ilẹ̀ yìí.
baálé mi ṣé ẹ mọ̀ wípé ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà pínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun fún ṣíṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àjọ adójútòfò ìlera OIS.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni my dear, èròǹgbà ọkàn gómìnà Adégbóyèga Oyètọ́lá òun ni kí gbogbo ènìyàn máa gbé ìgbésí ayé ìfọkànbalẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àlàáfíà tó ń ti ìlera pípé. èyí ló fa ìdásílẹ̀ àjọ adójútòfò ìlera OIS. wọ́n sì ń ṣe gudugudu méjì àti yàyà mẹ́fà. ní báyìí àjọ OIS tó ti ní àjọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ilé ìwòsàn aládàáni tó gbàṣẹ gbòǹtẹ̀ ìjọba. ìgbàkúùgbà tẹ́ ẹ bá débẹ̀ fún ètò ìlera ara yín níwọ̀nba ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ bá ti ní káàdì OIS lọ́wọ́ ẹ ó láǹfààní àti gbàtọ́jú ń bẹ̀ kí gbogbo ètò ìlera wa lọ́sùn kó lè bọ́ sí ìrọ̀rùn wọ̀kùwọ̀kù léyìíkéyìí ilé ìwòsàn tẹ́ ẹ bá dé. ìdí nìyí tí àjọ OIS fi ṣètò ICT center. wọ́n pín tábìlì àti ibùsùn lọ́pọ̀ yanturu, àga ìjòkó, blood pressure machine, solar light àti gbogbo àwọn èlò ìlera káàkiri àwọn ilé ìwòsàn ìjọba tájọ OIS dẹ̀ ló ń tẹ̀.
ìmọ̀ràn tèmi ni pé ẹ tètè lọ forúkọ sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àjọ OIS lówó péréte.
fàlà ilẹ̀kùnrẹ́rẹ́ 0700-225-56447 0700-225-56447
tàbí www.osia.ng. OIS, providing access to qualitative health without tears.
lẹ́yìn oṣù méjìdínlógún tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ kéde ṣíṣí àwọn ẹnu lóró sẹ̀mẹ̀ padà láti oṣù mẹ́rìnlá tó ti wà ní títì pa ló ti wá di ohun tí fàyàwọ́ ṣíṣe wọn gògò sí níbẹ̀ báyìí. bẹ́ẹ̀ bá gbàgbé pé lásìkò tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ kéde títì ẹnu ìloro ọ̀hún pa lóṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2019 ló jẹ́ ara èròǹgbà ìjọba láti pinwọ́ ṣíṣe fàyàwọ́ àwọn oúnjẹ àti kíkó àwọn nǹkan olóró míì kiri. ìwádìí fi hàn pé ohun gbogbo ti ń ṣẹnure lẹ́ka káràkátà láwọn agbègbè àti àwùjọ náà, àmọ́ tí fàyàwọ́ ṣíṣe wọ́n peléke sí bíi ẹkùn àpọ̀kọ̀jẹ. bákan náà lára àwọn ibùdókọ̀ tó wà ní sẹ̀mẹ̀ níbi táwọn arìnrìn-àjò ti máa ń wọ ọkọ̀ lọ síbi tí kó wá wọn bá ń lọ náà ló ti wá di ohun tí kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ sí àyè mọ́ fún ọkọ̀ láti dúró sí. ọ̀kan lára àwọn alùpùpù ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ọjì Ike tó jẹ́ ẹni tó máa ń gbé àwọn èrò kọjá ẹnu ìloro ọ̀hún sọ pé ní báyìí ṣe ni àwọn èrò níbi bẹ̀ kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ rí ọkọ̀ wọ̀ mọ́ nítorí pé kò sí ààyè tí wọn yóò gbà. bákan náà lọmọ ṣorí lọ́dọ̀ tí awakọ̀ kan tí ó máa ń wakọ̀ ẹrù ńlá tó tún jẹ́ alálùpùpù bàbá fro tó náà sọ pé fàyàwọ́ ṣíṣe ó ti di gbọmọgbọmọ ní agbègbè ọ̀hún tí wọ́n sì rọ ìjọba àpapọ̀ láti jọ̀ọ́ jàre bá wọn wá ojútùú sí i ní kíákíá.
igi ìwé gbòǹgbò mọ́ni ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Wọlé Ṣóyínká ti tọ́ka sí ìkọlù àwọn ẹni bí ẹ̀dá tí wọ́n lọ sílé ìjọsìn St Francis Catholic Church nílùú Ọ̀wọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àpẹẹrẹ àti àmì ńlá tó yẹ kí ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn gúúsù orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà kó fura sí o. igi ìwé gbòǹgbòmọ̀ náà ló sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún lásìkò tó ṣe àbẹ̀wò ìbánikẹ́dùn sí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo arákùnrin Rotimi Akeredolu nípínlẹ̀ náà. ó ní gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo ti ń síwájú nídìí dídọ́là orílẹ̀-èdè yìí kúrò lọ́wọ́ àwọn ẹ̀yà kan tó jẹ́ pé àwọn gan ló pọ̀ jù lápá orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ló jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa wá ṣe ìkọlù ọ̀hún sí ìlú gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo tí í ṣe ìlú Ọ̀wọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi wípé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ọ̀hún ló yẹ kí ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn gúúsù orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà kó fura sí torí wípé àwọn tí ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ń bá ta kàngbọ̀n jẹ́ ara àwọn ẹ̀yà tí wọn kì í fẹ́ kí èèyàn bá wọn jìjàgùdù fún púpọ̀ nǹkan lásìkò yìí. igi ìwé gbòǹgbòmọ̀ náà ló ṣàlàyé wípé ó ṣe pàtàkì kí ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn gúúsù orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà mọ́pù kẹ́díwọ́ lórí wàhálà àti ìkọlù táwọn kàràbà ní ẹ̀dá náà wá ṣe wípé èyí jẹ́ ohun tó lápẹẹrẹ tó sì nítumọ̀ gidi nídìí ètò ààbò lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí.
iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Adamawa ti sọ pé rògbòdìyàn tó bẹ́ sílẹ̀ láàrin Lugunda àti àwọn haúsá kan ní Boshkiri nípínlẹ̀ Adamawa ló ti mú ẹ̀mí ọgbìyàn lọ báyìí tó pé èèyàn sì di aláìnílé lórí tó fi mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ dúkìá tó bàjẹ́ níbẹ̀. Ìfàǹfà tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin àwọn agbègbè méjèèjì ọ̀hún ni egbọn rẹ̀ tún ràn dé Láfíà, Mumseri, Kùpté àti àwọn àwùjọ míì ní kòpẹ́kòpẹ́ yìí, èyí tó mú kí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún Amadu Fintiri pàṣẹ kónílé ó gbélé láwọn agbègbè tíṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà ti ṣẹ̀ lójú náà ti jẹ́ kí omi àlàáfíà tó ń dàrú níbẹ̀ tún tòrò padà kí ohun gbogbo sì máa lọ létòlétò. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún ló ti jáwé akèwọ̀wọ̀ fún àwọn tó ń pọnmi òkè rútodò láti lọ tọwọ́ ọmọ kálukú wọn bọṣọ pé òun kò ní fojú rowo ẹni yòówù tó bá ń dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ láwọn agbègbè náà. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde látọwọ́ akọ̀wé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ náà Umuashi School ni gómìnà ti sọ pé ó jẹ́ ohun tó bani lọ́kàn jẹ́ gidigidi fún bí aáwọ̀ ṣe ń fojoojúmọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ láwọn agbègbè ọ̀hún. Gómìnà tún ṣàlàyé rẹ̀ lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ pé láti wọ ojútùú sí àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi ọ̀hún àti dídáàbòbò ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá ló mú kí òun pàṣẹ kónílé ó gbélé láti aago 5 àárọ̀ sí 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ láti ọjọ́rú pẹ̀lú pé gbọ̀ngbọ̀n ni àṣẹ ọ̀hún sì wà ní síbẹ̀ láwọn agbègbè tíṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ọ̀hún ti ṣẹ̀. Ọjọ́ ajé ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ni alága ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ agbègbè náà Bulus Daniel fìdí rẹ̀ múlẹ̀ pé èèyàn 4 ló bọ́ lọ́jọ́ pàdé níbi ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ṣẹ̀ lágbègbè ọ̀hún táwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò sì lọ ṣiṣẹ́ wọn níbẹ̀ bó ṣe tó àti bó ṣe yẹ, èyí tó mú kí ògbógbó tètè rọlẹ̀ lásìkò.
Lórí báwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ilé asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fapá jánu láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ti ṣe ọjọ́ ajé tí wọ́n ń woṣẹ́ níran wọn ò fún àwọn asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí láti jókòó ìpàdé lórí ìjíròrò lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí. Olórí ilé asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí Ahmed Lawal ti ṣe ìpàdé pẹ̀lú ìgbìmọ̀ àwọn aláṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ilé asòfin lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Lóòótọ́ àti lódodo àwọn adarí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ilé asòfin náà ló ti kọ́ ké sí àwọn oníròyìn láti yọjú síbi ìpàdé ọ̀hún, àmọ́ lẹ́yìn táwọn oníròyìn kàn sí gbọ̀ngàn ibi tí ìpàdé ọ̀hún ti wáyé làwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ nílé asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí bá fà kíkọrí wọn ò fún àwọn oníròyìn náà láǹfààní láti bá wọn wọ ìyẹ̀wù pàdé lásìkò ọ̀hún. Ẹ rántí pé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ilé asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí ló ti gùn lé ìyanṣẹ́lódì láti ọjọ́ ajé ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí lẹ́yìn táwọn aláṣẹ ilé asòfin ilẹ̀ yìí kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀lì lórí àdéhùn tí wọ́n dìjọ ṣe nípa àtisan ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àjẹ́lẹ̀ owó oṣù àti àjẹmọ́nú wọn tó wà nílẹ̀ látẹ̀yìnwá.
Ọ̀kan lára àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ kólẹ̀ kódọ̀tí Rafiu Rahmoni lọ́wọ́ ikọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ti tẹ̀ fún bó ṣe ń lo ọgbọ́n àlùmọ̀kọ́rọ́ yìí fi ṣe bí adigunjalè, èyí tó mú kó fi béèrè mílíọ̀nù 5 náírà owó ìtúsílẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn akẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ níbi iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ ọ̀hún nípínlẹ̀ náà. Eléyìí ló jẹyọ nínú àtẹ̀jáde tí alukoro iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó Benjamin Hundeyin fi síta. Ó sọ wípé lẹ́yìn tí Rahmon lọ dàbí ọgbọ́n fi ṣe bí adigunjalè ló bá tẹkọ̀ létí ìrìn àjò sí Lugbe lólùlú ilẹ̀ yìí Àbújá níbi tó ti ṣe fọ́nrán ara rẹ̀ pé òun wà ní ìgbèkùn tó sì fi ránṣẹ́ sí ọ̀kan lára àwọn ojúgbà rẹ̀ lẹ́nu iṣẹ́. Alukoro iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ náà sọ pé Usman Sheidu tó náà jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn ọ̀daràn ló béèrè fún owó ìdásílẹ̀ mílíọ̀nù 5 náírà lọ́wọ́ àwọn kan tí wọ́n sì padà san owó díẹ̀ fún un lórí ohun tó béèrè ọ̀hún. Bákan náà ló sọ wípé ọwọ́ ikọ̀ ọ̀tẹlẹ̀múyẹ́ ni ó tẹ Rafiu Ramoni ọ̀hún tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ tó ń kólẹ̀ kódọ̀tí nípínlẹ̀ Èkó fún bó ṣe ń lu jìbìtì káàkiri lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára. àrígbámúkọ̀rọ̀ yìí fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ pé Usman Sheidu táwọn agbófinró fi pápẹ́ ọba gbé lórí ìlú ilẹ̀ yìí Àbújá lódìjọ panupọ̀ pẹ̀lú Ramon láti lo ọgbọ́n fi ṣe fọ́nrán kan èyí tí wọ́n fi ránṣẹ́ sí àwọn ojúgbà wọn níbi iṣẹ́ pé àwọn ajínigbé ti kó wọn ní papámọ́ra tí wọ́n sì béèrè fún owó ìdásílẹ̀. ní báyìí wọ́n ti ń jẹ́jọ́ níbi tí ó yẹ kí wọ́n ti máa jẹ́.
jẹ́ ń tún sáré fẹsẹ̀ kan yà sí agbo òṣèlú lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. àjọ elétò ìdìbò ilẹ̀ yìí ti fún gbogbo àwọn ààyò olùdíje fún ipò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú kó wá ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan wọn lọ́sẹ̀ kan péré láti fi orúkọ ẹni tí ó jẹ igbákejì tí wọn yóò dìjọ dupò sọwọ́ sí àjọ náà lẹ́yìn ọ̀sọ́ka. alága àjọ elétò ìdìbò ilẹ̀ yìí ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Mahmood Yakub ṣàlàyé pé ọjọ́ ẹtì ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ gan ni pínpín òpin lórí àti fi orúkọ ẹni tí ó jẹ igbákejì àwọn olùdíje bẹ́ẹ̀ sọwọ́ sí àjọ elétò ìdìbò ilẹ̀ yìí. àtijáde ọ̀hún fi kún wípé orúkọ àwọn olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ tàbí ti gómìnà ló gbọ́dọ̀ ti kan àjọ ọ̀hún lọ́wọ́ kó tó di ọjọ́ ẹtì ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ wípé orúkọ ọ̀hún ló gbọ́dọ̀ wà papọ̀ pẹ̀lú ojúlówó ẹni tó jẹ́ olùdíje àti igbákejì wọn wípé ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó bá kùnà láti fi orúkọ igbákejì sọwọ́ sí àjọ elétò ìdìbò ilẹ̀ yìí ló ṣeé ṣe kírú àwọn olùdíje bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ láǹfààní láti jáde dupò lásìkò ètò ìdìbò àpapọ̀ tí ó wáyé ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀. ìdìbò ṣáájú ìdìbò àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tí ó wáyé lọ́dún tó ń bọ̀ olùdíje méjì ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni ó ti wà fún ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú African Action Congress tí wọ́n dìjọ tún máa ta kàngbọ̀n láti di ààrẹ lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú AAC lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí. ìfanfà tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú AAC tá a mọ̀ sí African Action Congress ló jẹ́ wípé ó ti bímọ méjì ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ pẹ̀lú bí ọ̀kan lára àwọn aṣáájú ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ọmọyẹlé Sowore àti ẹnjiníà Yakubu Muhammed ti ń pera wọn ní ààyè olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà. èyí gan ló ń kọ púpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn gan lóminú wípé kí ló dé tí àwọn olùdíje méjì ṣe wá jáde fún ẹgbẹ́ kan ṣoṣo láti dupò ààrẹ lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. ṣùgbọ́n ṣá o wọ́n ní àwọn èèyàn ọ̀hún lẹ́yìn tí ẹnjiníà Yakubu àti Ọmọyẹlé Sowore jáde gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn olùdíje fúnpò ààrẹ lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà ló jẹ́ pé ó ṣeé ṣe kí òkè tí ó bórù mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ kó sì dojúdé pẹ̀lú bí wọn ò ti fohùn ṣọ̀kan láti fa ẹnìkan kalẹ̀ láàrin wọn.
onídàájọ́ Mohammed Sani nílé ẹjọ́ gíga ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó wà ní ìlú Ìlọrin ti pàṣẹ gbígba ilẹ̀ tó jẹ́ ti ọ̀dọ́langba kan tó ń jẹ́ Jimoh Ọ̀pẹyẹmí ẹni ọdún mọ́kàndínlógún tó wà ní agbègbè Táǹkẹ̀ ìlú Ìlọrin ti ṣe olú ìlú ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara fún pé ó jẹ̀bi ẹ̀sùn lílu jìbìtì lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára. onídàájọ́ Sani ló pàṣẹ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí lọ́jọ́bọ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí tó sì fi ẹ̀sùn kan èèyàn márùn-ún ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ míì nítorí ẹ̀sùn tí àjọ tó ń gbógun ti àjọ tó ń rí sí jẹgúdújẹrá nílẹ̀ yìí fi kàn wọ́n. lára àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ̀sùn kàn láti rí Àpáta Lawrence tó náà jẹ́ oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́, Benjamin láti Ìkẹ́rẹ́ Èkìtì, Ọ̀bádùn Bùsáyọ̀ láti ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ ìwọ̀ oòrùn ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo àtàwọn míì tí gbogbo wọn sì gbà pé lóòótọ́ ni àwọn jẹ̀bi ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn wọ́n. lẹ́yìn gbogbo àpàdé àti àlùdé ẹjọ́ ọ̀hún ni onídàájọ́ náà bá ka ìjìyà kálukú fún wọn lábẹ́ òfin.
lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àjọ tó ń fi rò máwọn tó pawó ará ìlú ní pọ́npọ́ tó mú wà hàn àjọ EFCC ti súré tọ onídàájọ́ Mojísọ́lá Dàda lọ eléyìí tó jẹ́ ti ilé ẹjọ́ tó ń gbẹ̀sùn ọ̀daràn tó dáyàtọ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Èkó láti jẹ́ kí adájọ́ ọ̀hún mọ̀ wípé gbajúgbajà aláfẹ́ni Ismaila Mustapha tọ́pọ̀ mọ̀ sí Mọ́fà ti tẹ ojú àṣẹ ilé ẹjọ́ mọ́lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú bó ti mórílẹ̀ ìlú Dubai tó ti dé ilé ẹjọ́ ti pàṣẹ wípé kó fi ìwé ìrìnnà rẹ̀ sílẹ̀ tó sì filẹ̀ lásìkò ọ̀hún àmọ́ tó tún lọ gba ìwé ìrìnnà tuntun láti tẹ̀kọ̀ létí lọ sílé òkèrè. ṣáájú ní àjọ EFCC ní ọjọ́ 12 oṣù kínní ọdún yìí ti wọ ọ̀gbẹ́ni Mustapha Mufal àti iléeṣẹ́ rẹ̀ Ismailo Global Investment Limited lọ síwájú ilé-ẹjọ́ lórí ẹ̀sùn fífi ẹ̀yìn pọn bílíọ̀nù 6 náírà owó ilẹ̀ yìí lọ sílé òkèrè láìròtì. Lọ́jọ́ 28 oṣù kẹta ọdún yìí gan ni ilé-ẹjọ́ wá pàṣẹ fún ọ̀gbẹ́ni Mustapha ọ̀hún láti kó ìwé ìrìnnà rẹ̀ kalẹ̀ kó má bàa ráàyè sá kúrò lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà lẹ́yìn tí ilé-ẹjọ́ fàyè gba onídùúró rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú mílíọ̀nù 15 náírà látòrí 2 mílíọ̀nù náírà tí ilé-ẹjọ́ nǹkan gbélé lórí gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó gbígba onídùúró rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí owó ọ̀hún rọjú ló kó mílíọ̀nù 15 náírà kalẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó tí wọ́n fi gba béèlì rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ṣá o ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ismaila Mustapha ló ti mórílẹ̀ ìlú Dubai báyìí pẹ̀lú lílo ìwé ìrìnnà tuntun míì tó tún lọ gbà lẹ́yìn tí àjọ EFCC ní ó tako àṣẹ tí ilé ẹjọ́ pa fún un tó sì ti fi tó ilé ẹjọ́ létí báyìí láti tún ẹ̀sùn ń gbọ́. ẹ já lọ sábàlá lójú tèmi. lábàlá lójú tèmi lórọ̀ yìí ọ̀rọ̀ tí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo arákùnrin Rotimi Akeredolu sọ nípa bí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ti sọ wípé ikọ̀ agbésùmọ̀mí ISWAP ló wà nídìí ìkọlù tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ilé ìjọsìn St Francis Catholic Church nílùú Ọ̀wọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi. arákùnrin Rotimi Akeredolu ní ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí fi ìwà ń wára sáré sọ ohun àìkọ̀ tó ṣeéṣe kó wà nídìí ìkọlù ọ̀hún wípé ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó tó sì bu ẹnu àtẹ́ lu bí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí ti lọ́ọ̀dì ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láàbẹ̀ ọmọ ikọ̀ sùmọ̀mí ISWAP wípé ikọ̀ náà tó bá ṣèkọlù lábàdì síbì kan a máa sọ pé òun ló wà nídìí rẹ̀. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni arákùnrin Rotimi Akeredolu pè fún kí ìjọba ilẹ̀ yìí gbìyànjú láti ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ríró àwọn ọmọ ikọ̀ àmọ̀tẹ́kùn lágbára sí lórílẹ̀‐èdè kí wọ́n lè mọ kojú àwọn karambà ní adàlúrú tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ gbìyànjú láti ṣiṣẹ́ láàbí. ojú wo lẹ fi wò yìí bò ló ti rí lójú yín 08187775777 ẹ kú ojúmọ́.
ẹ kú ojúmọ́.
ẹ káàárọ̀ 08187775777 ẹ káàárọ̀.
ẹ káàárọ̀.
ẹ kú ojúmọ́.
ẹ mọ̀ pé ètò kọ́ńtírẹ́sì ló pè láti ìlú Ẹdẹ.
tọ́ bó o lórí lójú yín.
ní ọkọ̀ àpapọ̀ ó yẹ ká máa farabalẹ̀ ṣèwádìí dáadáa tó tó di pé wọ́n mọ̀ fún ọkọ̀ léde pé àwọn tó ń hùwà báyìí nì. torí dábà ní àwọn ní àwùwà náà ṣe fẹ́ẹ́ àkọlù sí ìlú ṣe jẹ́ fáwọn oṣù àtàwọn ìfẹ́ tó tó wá tàwọn. ṣé àwọn kó tún lè fa jẹ́ pé wọ́n lè ní ìtumọ̀ láwọn ṣe ń gbé àwọn wà lọ sí. ètò ìjọba àpapọ̀ ká farabalẹ̀ máa wádìí dáadáa síjọ́ míì ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀.
ẹ ṣeun.
ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o. ẹ
ẹ káàárọ̀.
08187775777 ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o.
ẹ káàárọ̀ ètò àlórí ètò.
ẹ bá yín rédíò yín lẹ̀ ẹ bá yín rédíò yín lẹ̀ 08187775777 tẹ́ bá ti láǹfààní àti pè wọlé ẹ bá kọ́ yín rédíò lẹ̀ ká lè gbọ́ra wáyé ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o. ẹ káàárọ̀ orúkọ yín. orúkọ yín. bó lórí lójú yín. Ẹ̀ṣọ́ 08187775777 ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o.
ẹ káàárọ̀.
ẹ káàárọ̀.
ó kọ yín.
ẹ káàárọ̀ mádàlọ́sì ló sọ̀rọ̀ látẹ̀sà òkè o.
tọ́
báwo lè ṣe lójú.
bó ṣe rí lójú èmi ni pé ṣé rí tó ṣe kíní kìnní kan tó ṣe kìnní kan yẹ irúgbà tí àwọn èèyàn wa ní nàìjíríà nílẹ̀ yorùbá side tí ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n mọ ètò ìbílẹ̀ irúgbà tí rúurú ìrìn àjò tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ọ̀wọ̀ yẹ ó yẹ kọ́kọ́ ti pọwọ́pọ̀ kọ́ rárá lọ bẹ̀ tí kò sí nǹkan ìbílẹ̀ náà mọ́ ni tó bá rárá lọ ibẹ̀ yẹ at least kó pa àwọn bíi 200 náà nínú wọn àti padà wọlé yorùbá ó máa ní wọn lára tó káwọn àwọn ìdílé yorùbá àti àwọn èèyàn wa àtàjẹ́ àtúntò káwọn náà ká parapọ̀ ká sọ̀pọ̀tì àwọn àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ká sọ̀pọ̀tì àwọn police kájọ jìjà ìlàjàgbara ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́.
àmín.
ẹ ṣeun ìṣàwó èèyàn kan sí ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o.
ẹ káàárọ̀
láàrin ìṣẹ́jú kan ó kọ yín àti.
ẹ káàárọ̀ ìṣẹ́jú láti.
àgbọ̀yìn bá lè ṣe rí lójú yín.
ara ọ̀pẹ̀ta sọ ẹ̀rọ pé wà tí ìjọba ọ̀pọ̀ wù yẹn prevention is better than cure. torí tí wọn bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n mọ̀ bá sábẹ́ ilé report against àwọn ìjà tó ń ṣe kẹ́ ìfọ̀tọ́ mi ṣe nìyẹn. ara ọ̀pẹ̀ta tẹ̀ ń sọ níbi sọ curing nìyẹn ọ̀rọ̀ kákéjọ́rí ẹ̀ ṣe pàtàkì. ìbò tó ń wọ ká sọ fún àwọn candidate tó bá ń lọ síbẹ̀ lè sọ curing tí state police bá wà local government gan tó bá wà tó ló mọ̀ fún àlè mẹ̀tẹ́ àmọ̀tẹ́kùn yẹn ibi tí security wa gan ti lè tó ti lè ṣe dáadáa nìyẹn tó ti lè sọ curing tó ká tẹ mọ́ àwọn candidate wọn létí next election.
ẹ ṣeun.
Abímbọ́lá Babátúndé òní olóòtú àgbà fẹ́tò yìí Mọ́túnráyọ̀ Ayégbáyọ̀ òní olóòtú Abíọ́dún Babádíà ló kọ tèmi tẹ́nìkejì mi ni.
Abídèmí Ọ̀dẹ́rínú ire o.
ọ̀kan ṣoṣo àjànàkú tí ní gbó kìjikìji 104.5.
ètò ìgbéyàwó láyé babalúwa mi fi lélẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àṣẹ mi.
mo kí ẹ̀yin ará ilé o orúkọ mi ni Mrs. Mopélọ́lá Ògúnlùsì èmi ni olùdarí iléeṣẹ́ Romeo and Juliet matchmakers iléeṣẹ́ tí a ti ń rí ọkọ rere àti ìyàwó alárùbálíkà iléeṣẹ́ wa wà ní block C263 New Orisun Bare Shopping Complex MDS Òṣogbo a tún ní ọ́fíìsì míì sí Ìbòkun Òṣogbo Road ní ìlú Ìbòkun a sì tún ní branch ní Kent ní UK ní tòsí London telephone number sí wa 08034993019 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 08034993019 èyí tó ṣèkejì ní 08029189819 ìyẹn ni mo sábà máa ń fi ṣe WhatsApp bọ̀tẹ́ lè pè mí sórí ẹ̀ náà o ìyẹn ni 08029189819 àyè wà fún Muslims àyè wà fún Christians gbogbo èèyàn tó ń wọ́kọ rere tó ń wáyàwó rere àyè wà fún yín láti wá sí iléeṣẹ́ wa ní àwa tá à ń jẹ́ Romeo and Juliet matchmakers ó pẹ́ tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ yìí ó ti pẹ́ gan-an Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ń fi ìbùkún sí lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ ní àárín àwọn èèyàn tó ń ṣèyàwó either ní ti ẹ̀sìn ti church ni àbí ti court àbí ti ìjókòó àwọn àgbà tí wọ́n ń ṣèyàwó ní àwọn tí tọ́lọ́run ti lò wá fún láti introduce wọn síra wọn tẹ́ ẹ bá ń bọ̀ níléeṣẹ́ wa àwọn nǹkan kan wà tẹ́yìn náà máa ṣe ẹ máa mú full size photo yín photo kì í ṣe passport o photo gidi mo fẹ́ mọ result blood group àti genotype yín torí AS méjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ fẹ́ ra wọn àfẹ́ ọmọ tẹ́ ẹ bá bí kó jẹ́ C class àyè wà fún ọkùnrin tó dàgbà ó wà fún obìnrin tó dàgbà ó wà fún ọmọdé ó wà fún àgbàlagbà ọkọ rere àti ìyàwó rere wà ní Romeo and Juliet matchmakers àwọn kan á ní ọkọ wọn kú ńgbà tó àwọn ò fẹ́ lòmíì mọ́ ń bọ̀ nígbà bá ṣe díẹ̀ ara tún béèrè ẹ̀yin tọkọ yín kú àbí tíyàwó yín kú tí ẹ̀ ń wáyàwó tó dára tí ẹ̀ ń wọ́kọ ọkọ rere ẹ máa bọ̀ nílé iṣẹ́ wa Romeo and Juliet matchmakers bó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin senior girls ni àbí ẹ̀yin senior boys ẹ máa bọ̀ Ọlọ́run ò dá pé kéèyàn dúró lásán ẹ rántí pé Olúwa ńgbà tó dá Ádámù tán ó sọ pé kò dáa kí ọkùnrin kí ó dá wà bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni kò dáa kóbìnrin kó dá wà ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wọ́kọ rere tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wáyàwó rere ẹ máa bọ̀ ní iléeṣẹ́ wa Romeo and Juliet matchmakers. Ẹ̀yin òbí parents ẹ má wo àwọn ọmọ yín níran o. Tí wọn bá mọ́kọ ọkùnrin tó dáa tẹ́ẹ̀rí mọ́ obìnrin yín àbí tẹ́ẹ̀rí obìnrin tó dáa mọ́ ọmọ yín, ẹ máa bọ̀ ní Romeo and Juliet matchmakers. Ẹ̀yin ọmọdé tẹ́ ẹ bá ń gbọ́ wa náà o, ẹ fún àwọn òbí yín láàyè. Matchmaking ò ń ṣe nǹkan tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó pẹ́ tán ti ń ṣe, kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe pé a máa sọ pé ọkọ ẹ̀ rèé ìyàwó ẹ̀ rèé rárá o. A máa introduce ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọkùnrin sóbìnrin, a máa introduce ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ obìnrin sọ́kùnrin. Èyí tó bá wù yín lẹ máa múnú gbogbo àwọn tá a bá introduce sí yín. Gẹ́gẹ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí iléeṣẹ́ wa wà ní New Orisun Bari Shopping Complex MGS Òṣogbo. A tún wà ní Ìbòkun Òṣogbo Road ní Ìbòkun. A dẹ̀ wà ní Kent nílùú London. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin táwọn ọmọ yín travel tán wà nílùú òyìnbó Amẹ́ríkà ní Canada ní wherever they are tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ kán fọ́ òyìnbó ẹ contact Romeo and Juliet matchmakers. A introduce sí àwọn tí a ní lọ́hùn náà. Èmi ò bá yàn ṣe visa o, kẹ má sọ pé mo ní mo fẹ́ bá yín ṣe visa. Introduction kẹ lè rí ọkọ rere kẹ rí ìyàwó rere ni. Telephone number wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 08034993019 08034993019. Ìkejì ní 08029189819. Ìyẹn ni mo fi ń ṣe WhatsApp. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 08029189819 WhatsApp number mi nìyẹn, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ lè pè mí sórí ẹ̀ náà. Nítorí náà gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wá ọkọ rere tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wá ìyàwó rere ẹ contact wa. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ wà nílé ọkọ tí ẹ ní ìjà tẹ́ ẹ ní problem ẹ wá fún marriage counseling, ẹ wá sọ nǹkan tó ń dùn yín lọ́kàn, ẹ jẹ́ ká bá yín dá sí i kọ́lọ́run náà wá lọ́wọ́ tí kí ilé yín fi lè tòrò. Ọlọ́run ò fẹ́ ìkọ̀sílẹ̀ o. God does not like divorce. Nítorí náà ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wọ́kọ rere tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wá ìyàwó rere, ọmọdé ni yín ni àgbà ni yín ni Christian ni yín ni Muslim ni yín, ẹ máa bọ̀ ní Romeo and Juliet matchmakers kẹ́ wá pàdé ọkọ rere àti ìyàwó tó dára.
Ìgbéyàwó láyé bábọ́lúwa mi fi lélẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àṣẹ mi.
For the best in news, sports, music, documentaries, news analysis,
and lots more,
tune to OSBC Radio
104.5 FM.
From Osogbo to Lagos, from Lagos to Abuja, from Abuja to Enugu. Indeed, in every nook and cranny of Nigeria, OSBC Radio 2, and they're there for you.
From OSBC Radio 104.5 FM, Ile Awiye, Okebale, Osogbo. Up next is Breakfast Trade.
Breakfast Trade on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM is a people's show. Our Breakfast Trade filled with good delicacies for your consumption. We assure you of good dull moments from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Every Saturday morning you meet our guests on the show. You listen to career guidance, phone in only missing link. Health talk, fashion, trends, talent, hunts, and other things. Breakfast Trade every Saturday morning. You can beat no feeling.
this is OSBC Radio 104.5 FM Ilea Wioke Bale Oshogbo, and thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday morning delight on this station. It's Breakfast Ray.
Good morning, beautiful people. You're welcome to another beautiful weekend.
Yeah, it's the 11th day in the month of June 2022. It's a pleasure to be here this lovely Saturday morning. And of course, on behalf of the entire transmission crew, or better still the production team, we welcome you, comprising Formula Archero, who is managing the studio at this time. I'm one of the transmitters and the producer of this program, in person of Titilope Ajiboye, with the support of Dupe Akemi, and the executive producer of the show is Bose Bamboye.
I am Amina Salio.
I am Samuel Babale. Big Sam is what you call me. On the show this week, as usual, we have a whole lot for you. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's quickly read out some of the beautiful segments we have for the listen pleasure of our audience this morning.
We have the etiquette segment with Amina Salio.
Okay.
Then we have the Korean Foreign Corner by Zainab Busari. Kitchen's Corner, the Lapo Judge. Okay. She's going to prepare something delicious for us this morning. And we have the Box Pop by Toby Loba.
Alright, yeah. The Fox Sports segment this morning will be dealing with issues that catches our attention on the guest segment, which is the brain tumor. So our doctor is seated in the studio already, and we'll be doing justice to that. And just like we had an interesting discussion last week, and it was
I think it's kind of similar, just that this one is more broader and it has to do with tumor.
Of course, yeah. My point is just the way people were really educated last week. This week's edition is going to be better, as we usually do on this show. We usually bring you interesting stuff every week in, week out. So this week's edition will not be an exception. So we promise you a short time on the entire show of Breakfast Ray this beautiful morning. Yes, the week was an eventful week, like we usually do on this show. We should reflect on some of the major stories, or the trending stories, or better the top story, whichever we want to put it. But issues that actually dominated, the attention of people, dominated the media, and caught the attention of most Nigerians during the week. We come here and talk about that on the show. And it has to do with the presidential primary of the All Progressives Congress. And of course, the 2023 general election is drawing closer, and so many people are talking about it because it's been identified that the major problem that this country has is quality leadership. We've got, the material and mineral resources, to do well, to be among the best, not just in Africa, but across the world. And that's why you see many Nigerians, when they go abroad,
they do well.
They do well.
Yeah.
Our doctors in the studio, brain drain syndrome is one of the issues, confronting the country at this time because of the economic situation.
Already.
Yeah, so many professionals are now leaving Nigeria, in search of greener pasture. We use the taxpayers' money, if you permit me to use that, or we train, our youth.
We bring out the best in them, and
we train them.
Way.
Yes, and at the end of the day, you just leave Nigeria to go use the experience and expertise, to develop other countries because of the opportunities there. I must tell you, if you get to what do you call it now? Where they produce international passports in Nigeria, the office of what do you call them?
The embassies and all.
No, not really embassy. Immigration office.
Okay,
across Nigeria, you see a lot of people there. So, I had the opportunity of speaking with somebody during the weekend. Everybody felt Japanese. So we're trying to get it right in 2023. So it's important to talk about this thing.
Yeah.
So the issue of who becomes what in 2023 is a major concern for all Nigerians. As a matter of fact, many young people are not really taking it seriously. They only do their politicking and their voting on the social media, on Twitter.
But when it comes to real voting,
You know,
They're
you
nowhere
don't
to
see
be
them on the
found.
election day. So, but that's not going to solve our problem.
Let our voice count.
So it's important. We need to keep talking about this thing. So
Yeah.
it happened during the week that former Lagos State Governor Senator Bola Tinubu became the, became the winner of the primary election and is now the presidential candidate
For
of
APC.
the All Progressives Congress (APC), and he'll be trading tackles in that election, like we say in football. He'll be trading tackles with Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. So it's important, not forgetting all other parties as well. Obi has now gone to Labour Party, is their presidential candidate. You see Kwankwaso, NNPP, and Showore as well, has gone ahead, to become the presidential candidate of his party. So there are more options. So it's not all about
The two
APC
major
and
parties.
PDP, but because of their dominance and the influence that they have,
their
across
existing
Nigeria, people are only talking about them, but there are more options. So we should try as much as possible to get it right in 2020. That's the first point. And the second point is young people should get involved.
Yeah.
Enough of talking on the social media. I think that's the message here.
Mm-hmm.
And the July 16th gubernatorial
Osun
election
State.
in Osun, it's been identified. Civil society organizations are beginning to talk about these things. That young people are not just coming out, they participate. We appreciate what they do. You see them among the security agents, the observers, the adult staff, and so on and so forth. The media. It's possible I'm here during that day. On the election day, I may not have the opportunity to go out there and vote. We participate in other areas, but when it comes to the actual voting, many young people, it's not
just stay
it's not,
at home and talk on social media.
It's not just only in Osun, but that has been identified. So our election will be coming up on the 16th July. So go out there
and vote.
Make sure you have your PVC.
Yeah, go for it now. I think
Never
it's out
wait
already.
Never wait until the election morning. You start looking for your PVC all around. So make sure you prepare for that election.
Yeah.
Please try as much as possible to influence who becomes what. We've got it, because I'm a youth. We've got the number. We've got you don't know the power that you have.
Yeah.
Because so your vote is important. And let me tell you, the election is beginning to count in Nigeria.
It is.
Now. So if you do not allow politicians to influence you, we all preach against this things, vote by and so on and so forth. The elderly who are not educated, they can easily deceive them and give them money. But if you refuse to collect money and you go for the right candidate, and majority of the youths in the state can do that. I know you can determine who becomes the next governor in Nigeria State. So that's the message for this morning on this segment. And we're gonna take the Vox Pop segment now. And it's on it's on
Brain Tumor.
Yes, and let's tell our audience a few things about this thing. So World Brain Tumor Day is actually observed every year on 8th of June with an aim to create awareness about brain tumors. So it occurred during the course of the week 8, today is 11. When exactly was that?
That was like 4 days ago.
Oh my God! Anything has to do with calculation, I usually ask you. Because
anyway, you're trying to make me better in that aspect. I'm an art student.
Naturally, no, I'm a commercial student. So I
actually don't like math.
During the course of the but at least when it comes to date and stuff like that.
Don't mind me, my bad.
Okay, you need to work on that. So that's by the way. But it happened on the 8th of June 2022, but today we'll be talking about that, and you're gonna be educated, I assure you. So let's find out what a cross section of our audience have to say about this subject matter on the show this morning. Breakfast on 104.5. Vox Pop segment is next. When we come back, we're going to bring in our guest. He's seated right here, Dr. Taufik Rabiu. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Vox Pop segment on Breakfast. I am Oluwatobiloba Ishola. What are the causes of brain tumor and how can it be treated?
Good day. My name is Joanna Olamide Binoyo, and briefly, I would like to talk about brain tumor. Brain tumor is the mass or growth of abnormal cells in your brain. When something abnormal, something unusual starts growing in your brain, then it is brain tumor. And we have, of course, two types of brain tumor. We have the cancerous one and the non-cancerous one. And also, it is categorized into two. We have the primary and the secondary brain tumor. Then we have some symptoms of brain tumor. That is, those things you have to notice in your body, those things that happens to you, and you start considering, should I go for a test when it is happening often. So the first one is headache, especially when you wake up in the morning or at night. Having headache. Headache is a major sign of brain tumor. When the headache is severe as well, is a major sign of brain tumor. When one starts vomiting unnecessarily, like all of a sudden, when it is not like one is pregnant or there is a reason to be nauseated, but one starts vomiting, such too shouldn't be taken with a likely end. Also, we have speech difficulty. When one has brain tumor, it will be quite difficult for the person to speak. Also, feeling very tired, when you just wake up in the morning and just feel like, oh, I am tired. Or you are at home throughout the day for 2 days, 3 days. Of course, you've treated malaria. It is not like you have typhoid. All of a sudden, you are just tired. Being unnecessarily tired is not a good sign. Another symptoms is difficulty in making decisions. We're talking about brain tumor, so it has to do with things in the brain. So difficulty in making decisions is also a major sign. Confusion and everything matters. I've heard of so many cases of, oh, I am tired, oh, I'm confused, oh, I don't know what decisions to make. That as well shouldn't be taken with likely hand. Also dizziness, all of a sudden you're feeling dizzy, high problem, memory loss, personality or behavior change. All these things, when you feel them, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you feel all of these signs, you're having brain tumor. But then, when the signs are happening and reoccurring, then you have to see your doctor. You have to go to your doctor to run tests on you to be sure you are healthy or not. Those are the symptoms. And of course, we have some cases. We have cases of brain tumor. One of it is exposure to radiation, when you are exposed to radiation. Another one is chemical exposure, when you are exposed to chemical. The way we take things in our body differs. So we really cannot say the way you take things will be the exact way I take things. So we have to really know who we are and not expose ourselves to some chemicals or radiation. Another one is age. Also, we have another cause, which is family history. So some are actually hereditary and it is genetic. So that could be the case. And also, the secondary brain tumor actually is spread to the brain. It is not like this cancer starts from the brain. No, it starts from another part of the body. For an example, breast cancer, kidney cancer, lung cancer, melanoma, and all the likes. When all those happens, then automatically it could spread to the brain. And metalastic or secondary brain tumor, they are tumors that result from cancer that start elsewhere in the body and they spread to the brain. It is not like as though it is from the brain that it starts, but it starts elsewhere in the body, maybe another cancer in the body, it spreads to the brain. And there are some various tests by which you can just run when you notice you're having brain tumor. Part of it is CT scan of the head, MRI of the head, angiography, skull X-ray, biospy. All these things, you should run those tests to be sure of the growth, because the growth of brain tumor varies from an individual to the other. The way it grows as well varies. So we really cannot conclude and say, okay, this is how it grows. The way it grows, a particular person is the exact way to grow in another person. No, it varies from one, because knowing fully that our immunity is different, the way we are immune is different. Also, treatment also depends on the size, types, location, and general health. The treatment does not just say, okay, because one, you are noticing having a headache, so this is what you should do. No, treatment varies, and that depends on the size. If it is so big or just small, or the type, or the location, or the general health. And also, if one is having secondary brain tumor, that is the one that starts elsewhere, that comes to the brain, in such a case, then one has to undergo surgery. One can treat secondary brain tumor. I hope with little of this, when you notice you're having some severe headache, dizziness, memory loss, confusion making decisions, and all the likes, please see your doctor. Health is wealth. health is wealth. We have to take care of our health. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Adedire Esther, aka Adesti, and I will be talking about brain tumor. What is a brain tumor? A brain tumor is a mass or growth of abnormal cells in the brain, and brain tumor can be cancerous or non-cancerous. And when a brain tumor grows, it causes brain damage, which can be life-threatening. I'll be talking about some symptoms of brain tumor. We have headaches, vomiting, seizures, especially in adults, then a change in mental functioning of the affected patient, blood or double vision, memory loss, also dizziness, eye problems. There could also be loss of balance, difficulty in walking, change.
Alright, you've just listened to the Vox Pop segment on the show Breakfast Ray this morning, but this time around we will discuss the matter with an expert, somebody who's been certified to actually talk about the brain tumor, this medical condition. So it's very much here this morning, and he's Dr. Taufik Rabiu. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us on the show Breakfast Ray this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, if I may ask you, let's begin it this way. Would you say people are really aware, about this medical condition?
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about the level of awareness, from your experience? You've attended to so many patients, and perhaps people with this kind of condition.
Well, generally, I think the awareness level is very low in our environment, just like in most other developing countries. Most people do not even know what brain tumor is. Most people do not know that tumors occur in the brain. And they also do not know the symptoms or features of brain tumor. So most times the diagnoses are made very, very late when the tumors are quite advanced. And that also affects the outcome of management. So generally in our environment, the awareness is low, and that is why a program like yours, like this, is very important to educate the public about the menace of brain tumor.
So please, can you explain what the brain tumor means?
Yeah, well, brain tumor is an abnormal growth in the brain. So when a part of the brain begins to grow uncontrollably, I would say that is a brain tumor.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Let me add this to that question. I mean, doctor, there is cancer as well, and cyst. Is there any similarity between the three? There's cyst, there's another cancer, and then we're talking about tumor.
Yes. So a cyst is just a collection of fluid in any part of the body. So in this particular instance, if we're talking about the brain, then a cyst is a collection of fluid within the brain. Now, the cyst may not be a tumor. For example, we have water normally in the brain. That's what we call cerebrospinal fluid. So if that fluid collects in a cyst, we can have something like an arachnoid cyst, which is not a tumor, but may behave or may make a tumor. However, brain tumors may also form cysts on their own. So generally, cyst may just be a part of a brain tumor, or maybe something that occurs on its own. Now, when you talk about cancerous growth, cancerous growth are growths that are extremely dangerous, that are unregulated growth, and that can leave wherever they start from and move to other parts of the body. So when we talk about the brain, now that means generally we may have, like your reporters or your staff reported earlier on, you can have two types of tumor. The ones that are benign, what we call benign growths, that are non-cancerous, and then the cancerous type that we call malignant. Now, the benign tumors grow in the brain and remain in the brain and exert their influence or pressure on the adjacent part of the brain and do not leave that part. Whereas the malignant tumors or the cancerous ones, they grow in the brain and then may spread out of the brain. That is one. Although that is very, very rare for brain tumor to spread out of the brain. But what we may have will be tumors from other parts of the body, which are cancerous, spreading to the brain, giving what we call secondary brain tumor. So the ones that grow in the brain will be called primary brain tumor, whereas the one that come from outside of the brain will be called secondary brain tumor. In our own environment, the common sources of the secondary brain tumor will be lung cancer, people who have lung cancers, breast cancers, prostate cancers, and then some people who may have malignant tumors of the skin like melanoma, that's cancer of the skin. Those ones may spread to the brain and give a cancer of the brain. That's secondary now, coming from somewhere else.
Okay, thanks, sir. So those are the types of brain tumor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, thank you, sir. So can you please tell us the causes of the brain tumor? What are the causes?
Well, generally the causes of brain tumor are not known. The exact causes are not known. So we have to look at that. Yeah, just like cancers generally. Okay. However, there are what we may call predisposing factors, things that may make somebody predisposed to having brain tumor. And we'll start with genetics, the makeup of that particular individual. Sometimes if a tumor runs in the family, because of genetic makeup, because of alteration in their genes, then that individual may be predisposed to having a tumor. We also talk about environmental factors. In the environment, exposure to dangerous things in the environment, like radiation, that is the most important one. So, for example, people who live in areas where there are radioactive activities, or people who are unnecessarily exposed to radiation via X-ray, via CT scan that is not controlled, those people may be predisposed to having brain tumor. Some chemicals, dangerous chemicals, like lead in places where people are exposed. If they are exposed to it, that can predispose them to that. People who smoke have a higher risk of developing brain tumor, as well as those who also drink alcohol. So generally, these factors interact together with the genetic makeup of the individual and may predispose to having brain tumor. But it has to be said that the exact cause of brain tumor or exact causes are not known, and these factors are just associated factors, not the ones that exactly cause it. So for now, science, the stage at which science is today is that we do not know the exact causes of brain tumor.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now let's talk about some of the signs and symptoms. How do we know that someone is having a brain tumor?
The commonest feature of brain tumor, something that may indicate that somebody has a brain tumor, is a headache. So if someone has an headache that is persistent, or that is on and off becoming worrisome, and the person has taken regular or routine medications for headache, or has been treated for other things that may cause headache, such as malaria, hypertension, and the rest, and the headache persists, that is a red flag that the individual has to have further evaluation to see whether this may be a brain tumor or not. General feeling of unwell, a person is just not feeling well without any particular cause, begin to lose memory, without any other thing that can indicate or that may be responsible for that. Those may indicate that somebody has a brain tumor. Vomiting, if an individual begins to vomit, especially early in the morning, and the person is not, let's say, it's not associated with pregnancy, and is not also associated with eating a bad food or something, that's food poisoning, then we may be thinking that, can this be a brain tumor? There are other symptoms, such as weakness of one part of the body. So if somebody has paralysis on a part of the body, either the hand, the legs, or both of them, or the face, one part of the face is weak, such that the mouth deviates to the other part, should be thinking about, can this be a brain tumor? Blindness or visual impairment, especially for those who have had to change glasses frequently, and they've been going to the ophthalmologist or their doctors, they've had to change glasses. You should also be thinking that, can this be a brain tumor, and then check further to see whether it is. If a woman is producing breast milk without breastfeeding a child, that is, the person is not nursing a baby, but breast milk is coming out of the nipples, then that is a very strong indication that there may be something growing in the brain. People who have seizures, convulsions, as people generally know them, may also indicate that there's a tumor, especially seizure in adulthood. So if an adult has the first seizure in his or her life in adulthood, then it is most likely a brain tumor until proven otherwise. Now that is different from somebody who has been having seizures since childhood and now continue to have it as an adult. So if somebody has the first seizure of his or her life in adulthood, it's most likely a brain tumor. So these are the general features of brain tumor. But or generally, if somebody is not doing fine, including having fever, having fever that cannot be explained, and the individual has been managed for so many other things, then and is not doing well, we should also be thinking that can this be something coming from the brain, because the brain controls all the parts of the body. So if the brain is not functioning well, it may appear that those other parts of the body are the ones that are not functioning well, whereas it is actually the brain, because it's the control center.
Thank you, sir. Let me quickly add this, that if you feel any of these signs and symptoms, you should seek attention, seek the help of a medical personnel. Okay, sir, please, can you tell us how this disease is diagnosed?
Well, the diagnosis of brain tumor, of course, will be by a medical practitioner, and usually we go through the history and then we examine the patient. So from the history and the examination, it will show us some of those things, the features that I've mentioned earlier. To make diagnosis, we need to do what we call imaging, to look at the brain itself. And looking at the brain, the commonest form of diagnostic tool that we have here is the computerized tomography scan, which we call a CT scan. So that's a computer scan of the brain, which can show whether something is growing in the brain or not. So we start with a CT scan. And then sometimes, if there is further need to look at it better, or if the CT scan does not show much, we move to an advanced imaging, which we call magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. You can do that. And then there are ancillary tests, other tests that can be done. Even skull X-ray sometimes may show that there is an abnormality in the brain, but generally it will not make a diagnosis of brain tumor. In other instances, we do some tests. For example, if somebody is producing breast milk without nursing a baby, if you do some chemical tests, it may show that some chemicals like prolactin is high in the blood, and that may indicate that that abnormal chemical is coming from the brain. So these are the general tests that we do in our environment here.
If I may ask, for laymen who don't really have information about this type of medical condition, is the brain tumor can it be transferred, and again, is it curable? Those are two in one, two questions.
Well, the first is to say that brain tumor is not something transferable from one individual to the other. But somebody can inherit an abnormal gene from the parents or the grandparent, or even 3 or 4 generations ahead of him or her, which may predispose that individual to having a brain tumor. For example, people who have neurofibromatosis, that have nodules on their skin, multiple nodules, skin nodules in neurofibromatosis. If there has been such an history in the family, then the individual, an individual who carries such a gene may be at a higher risk of also developing brain tumor. So in that sense, we may say, okay, maybe somewhat it may be inherited, but generally it's not something that is passed on from generation to generation, and it cannot affect, it cannot spread from one individual to the other individual just by maybe living together or caring for the person. So
I would like you to explain better what you mean by nodule the other time, because to an average listener, when we talk about nodule, you're talking about
yes, if there are growths on the skin, like round skin thickness, different part of the body, skin will be thickened, and sometimes it may have a stalk, as if something is growing out of the out of the skin. There are people who have that. It may affect the face, it may affect the trunk, or even their limbs. Around so so such people may be at advanced risk of having.
So that's what you mean by noodle.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So about whether it's curable or not.
Yes. Well, it will depend on the type of brain tumor. Brain tumors that are benign, that is the ones that are not the cancer type, are curable. Curable if they are diagnosed early. And we have quite a number of brain tumor survivors, those who have survived it even in our own environment. However, the cancer types are very, very difficult to cure. But again, some of them are curable if all facilities are available. That is, if we're able to remove the tumor and then subject the tumor to, or the individual to, other treatments such as chemotherapy or radiotherapy, which we may get to later. So they are generally curable, but the cancer types are not, and may come back.
So what are the available treatment options for people who are suffering from the brain tumor?
Yeah, so generally we start by offering them surgery once we have made the diagnosis. So surgical treatment is the primary treatment to remove either the whole of the tumor or part of it, such that the individual will feel better. And so that is the main thing, surgery of the for tumor removal. And then for some individuals, depending on the type, especially the cancer type, we may subject the tumor again to radiotherapy. Radiotherapy is using medical radiation, which is controlled. Usually I describe it as like light that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Something similar to X-ray, but much more powerful than that. So radiotherapy, that is also available in the country. It's not available within the state, but we send our patients who need it to places like UCH, Ibadan, Lagos to have it. As you are aware, there was a point in time, maybe about last year or 2 years ago, that we had a problem in the country when all the radiotherapy machines were down. People were actually going as far as Ghana to have radiotherapy. So radiotherapy is another form of treatment which may kill the cancer cells and then help to slow down their spread in the body. And for some patients, we also give them special drugs, which we call chemotherapy. So these are the major forms of treatment that are available in our environment. In other countries, in advanced centers, they are talking about there are trials about novel treatment like immunotherapy, trying to boost the immune of the individual or give agents that may directly attack the brain tumor. But those are not yet available around us. So generally we talk about surgery, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy.
Okay, in case you're just joining us, this is Breakfast Rate on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM. Ileawi Okibali Oshobo. This morning we're speaking with Dr. Taufik Rabius. We're talking to us on World Brain Tumor Day. So brain tumor is our focus this morning, and you've spoken extensively on the meaning, the type, the causes,
the signs and symptoms.
Signs and symptoms, of course, the available treatment options for this disease. And let's go straight to how we can prevent it. Like they say, prevention is better than cure. As individuals, how can we prevent the spread and protect ourselves against this deadly disease?
Well, unfortunately, prevention in the general sense is not something that can be practiced in brain tumor, in the sense that because we said there's no specific known cause, so then it may be difficult to say try and stay away from this. However, the associated factors or those factors that may predispose one to it, possibly if one still have them, like cigarette smoking, exposure to radiation, alcohol consumption, those may help to prevent brain tumor. But generally, the prevention as it regards brain tumor is about early diagnosis, so that if it is picked up early, then treatment can be offered, and the chances of surviving or curing it would then be very, very high compared to if it were to be picked up very late. So generally, brain tumor, again, because it's not something that can be prevented in that sense, affect all individuals, may affect anybody, and may affect either a child or an adult or an elderly person. So, and it also affects both sexes.
Maybe we can add this that you mentioned children the other time. How should it be handled, in children, for parents now?
Yeah, so generally for children, let me say that some children may actually be born with a brain tumor. That's a congenital brain tumor. Right from the womb, the tumor begins to grow, and then the child is born with it. Or the tumor may develop early. One, if there's a child whose head is getting abnormally larger, so abnormally large head, that may be a sign that something may be growing in the brain. If the child is not developing well, like a child who is supposed to sit at 6 months has delay in sitting, a child who is supposed to walk at about 1 year has problem with walking, or does not walk early, or the child is not doing well in school, or generally if a child is also having seizure and is not from maybe fever, malaria or something, but the child is having seizure, such a child needs to be seen by pediatricians, by doctors who will evaluate and decide whether there's a need to do a brain scan to rule out a brain tumor.
Okay, in case you want to be a part of this program, please hold on.
Okay.
I would like us to call out the number in case any of our audience, yes, in case they have one question or the other to ask the doctor this morning.
Okay, you can reach us on 081-877-75777.
One person is already calling.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Thank you for this very good program. Last week, it was also discussed, the mental health issue was also discussed.
Yes, sir.
And I think it goes a long way. From our elementary biology, which we are taught, those days, we will not die. I know that the brain is the central to all human existence. But the question I would like to have, we talk about addiction therapy. What happens the issue of the noise from the generators and all, can we also call brain cancer?
Okay. Doctor, would like you to answer that question.
Well,
risk factor.
Noise has not been shown to be a risk factor, but generally because we don't know the specific causes, it is not impossible that extremely loud noises over a long period may also interact with other environmental factors and may lead to abnormality in the genes. But generally, noise is not a known risk factor.
But I think you mentioned exhaust from generator.
Okay, exhaust. Yes, exhaust from generator will produce abnormal chemicals, especially carbon monoxide. So some may also have, if the petrol is leaded, then lead, and if somebody consumes that or inhales that over a very long period of time, then it may, in addition to other factors, lead to the development of brain tumor.
So I hope the caller got that answer right. I think you've said it separately.
Yeah.
You've repeated that we don't really have causes, but we only talk about risk factors when it's come to the brain tumor. Yeah, let's call out the number once again.
081 877 5777.
0818 777 5777. That's the number to dial to be a part of the show this morning on Breakfast Ray on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM.
Okay, sir. The theme of World Brain Tumor Day this 2022 is Together We Are Stronger. Can you please help us to make sense of this year's theme?
Yeah, so together we are stronger. Like in other aspects of human endeavors, if we all come together, join hands together, we can do a lot. So regarding brain tumor, because the individual, the sufferer, needs a lot of support from the society, needs a lot of support from the family and needs a lot of support from government, non-governmental organizations. So if we all come together, we can make early diagnosis, we can provide facilities to make this diagnosis early. We can also assist the individuals to get back to society, to come back to their usual activities of daily living. And that is why this year we say together we are stronger, that we can beat this disease, we can overcome, and we can make people to become better if we all join hands together, especially at the family level, to assist the individual.
Okay, someone is trying to call in again. 0818-777-5777. We apologize for that. We couldn't pick your call. I wanted the doctor to land on that point. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I have similar case. My partner is almost 27 years, and he has this development. And up to now, we cannot compress 1 to 20. So maybe if I can have the phone number, maybe everything personally. If I can have your personal phone number, then we talk on this. My name is
from Iwo. Okay, doctor, any response to that?
Any response to that?
Would you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Well, so you can contact me on.
Okay, the doctor will get back to you on that.
Okay, try and pick up your pen and paper now. Okay. He's about calling out this number.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, so you can contact me on 0803 495 0803 495 4806. If you just hold on, I'll call it. Yours is just to write it down. 080 3 495 4806, or you can speak with the OSBC producer, after the program.
Yeah, or you call back after the show. Hope you got that number right. Let me call it for you now. 080.
Okay, you know what? We'll call it after the program.
Please call us back after the show. Immediately we round up the show. Please try and call back. Thank you very much for calling in. All right, thank you, Doctor. For that response. Okay, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Quickly, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from my state.
Your name?
Hello, I'm calling from my state.
Your name, please.
What's your name?
My name is Aziz.
Okay, Aziz. Okay, what's your question?
Thank you very much for this wonderful program this morning.
All right, thank you.
So I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one is, can this bring someone into forgiveness? And what are the likely symptoms one can be seeing for one to know that they have brain tumor? Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, thank you. I'll stay tuned for the answers to those questions. Doctor, quickly.
Well, so forgetfulness, that's impaired memory that somebody can have that. So progressive memory loss may be a feature of brain tumor, especially if the tumor occurs in the frontal part of the brain, that's the frontal lobe. So people who have dementia, we should evaluate them for brain tumor. The other features which we have said earlier on is the headache, impaired level of consciousness, that the person is not very responsive, people who vomit, especially early in the morning, weakness on one side of the body or on the face, seizures, and then of course memory impairment, and generally if the individual is not feeling well, general unwell despite all other treatments, then we should consider a brain tumor.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Bola Samson.
Where are you calling from? Okay, Mr. Bola Samson from Oshobo. Please try and move away from your radio set. Please try and move away from your radio set. Try and move away from your radio set. Hello?
Hello? Please try and move away from your radio set.
Move away from your radio set so we can hear you very clearly.
No, I've put it off.
Okay, now so go ahead with your question.
Like, if what you are the rumor that you are discussing, are there any relationship with payment?
Okay. Doctor?
No direct relationship. There's no direct relationship between keloid and brain tumor. But it suffices to say that somebody who has keloid or who is predisposed to having keloid, which is also an abnormal growth of the skin, may be predisposed, maybe genetically, to having brain tumor, but there's no direct relationship between them.
All right, Mr. Sampson, I hope you got that right. All right, thank you very much. We have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please, I want to ask.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
From Oshobo.
What's your name?
Tomisi from Oshobo.
Tomisi from Oshobo. Okay, go ahead with your question.
Please, can so much of discipline from the parents causes brain tumor?
Sir?
Generally, we will say no. But let me mention that one risk factor which we haven't said is repeated head injuries. So if you are talking about discipline in terms of hitting the child on the head and then the child is injured on the head, probably over time, but generally discipline by parents will not be a risk factor for brain development of brain tumors.
Okay, I think we need to wrap it up. So, doctor, what advice do you have for people who are suffering or battling with this medical condition, and of course the relatives, as well as the entire society? How can we prevent, or better still, what we can do, to actually ensure that we don't have, people coming out with this kind of
cases.
Yes, we don't have, more cases of the brain tumor in our society, and perhaps you have an advice for the government as well with regards to treatment in our hospitals.
So let me say there are two categories of people that we want to advise. One regarding development of brain tumor. If a woman has infertility and the woman is not pregnant and is producing breast milk, and maybe over time also begins to have headache or has visual impairment like blurring of vision, she should go and see her doctors while being evaluated for infertility and other things. This may also be a brain tumor. That should be at the back of her mind. Again, if somebody has visual blurring or impairment of vision over time and has had to change glasses several times, then he or she should also consider that can this be a brain tumor and be evaluated properly. As we have said earlier on, the best prevention for brain tumor is actually early diagnosis, and so we all need to pay attention, see our doctors if we feel any of the symptoms and signs that we have mentioned previously. Go to the hospitals that are closest to us, and then the doctors will take it from there and make adequate diagnosis. Now, for the government will help our people by providing easy access to diagnostics tools. As it is in Osun State for now, we do not have enough access to diagnosis. CT scan is not easily accessible. In fact, it's only 1 or 2 centers have it in the entire Osogbo and the whole state. If a patient needs to do an MRI, they need to go outside of the state to do an MRI. So the government can help by establishing diagnostic centers or providing these tools at the teaching hospital. So that is, I think with this, we can make diagnosis early and then we can treat the individuals. And then regarding the team for this year's Brain Tumor Day, as we've said, we all need to come together, especially at the family level, to provide support for individuals who have brain tumor so that they can get back to to doing the activities of daily living at the earliest time.
All right, thank you very much. We most appreciate you. On behalf of the executive producer of this program, Bose Bankwe, with the support of Dukwe Akemi, and of course the producer of the show, we thank you so much, Dr. Taufik Rabiu, for taking your time to provide this public service this morning, for talking to us on this subject matter, the brain tumor.
Thank you so much.
I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
All right, moving on the show this morning, breakfast on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM. Ilia, we okay, Bali Oshogbo. Let's get into the kitchen
with Dolapo George.
Yeah.
Good morning, listeners. Welcome to another tantalizing edition on Kitchen Corner segment on Breakfast Street. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Kitchen Corner on Breakfast Street. You are listening to OSBC 104.5 FM, Iliawiye, Okebale, Oshogbo. Kitchen Corner is a segment on Breakfast Street where we bring to you different delicacies, how to prepare them, we tell you their health benefits. We also bring to you table manners, we tell you what to do and what not to do at the table. My name is Dolapo George. Today, before going to today's delicacies, I'm going to discuss to you about balanced diets. It is very bad to see how people eat. People eat what they see and not what is good and healthy to their body. So today, I will explain to us the importance of eating balanced and healthy diets. Balanced diet is a diet consisting of a variety of different types of food and providing adequate amount of the nutrients necessary for good health. Healthy diet is a diet that maintains or improves overall health. A healthy diet provides the body with essential nutrition such as protein, vitamins, and adequate fiber. Eating well does not have to be complicated. If you follow the advice of the professionals and eat a balanced diet, you are well on the way to a better life. It is never too late or too early to make healthy changes to your diet to help prevent disease, manage your weight, and feel better. Balanced diet means choosing a variety of foods from the different food groups such as carbohydrates, protein, vitamins, fat and oil, and water. You have to avoid sugary drinks and foods with added saturated fats like processed meats, chips, pastries, and pies. You drink plenty of water to keep hydrated and to help your body function better. What are the benefits of a balanced diet? But before that, let me tell you the classes of food and their examples. Carbohydrates, we have rice, pasta, potatoes, yam, bread, whole grain or whole wheat, eba, amala, and so on and so forth. Protein, we have examples of protein: meat, fish, eggs, beans, and so on. Vitamins, we have the fruits and vegetables. Fat and oil, palm oil, olive oil, low-fat milk, nuts, and so on. And we also have water. Now, the benefits of a balanced diet. Eating a balanced diet prevents diseases and infections. When you eat the full range of vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients, you improve your immune system, and your healthy diet may even help prevent diseases like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. Eating balanced diet also helps you control your weight. It improves your mental health. It gives good for growth and also makes your skin better and also make your hair better. Now, those are the importance and benefits of eating a good diet. Don't let us just eat anything we see, but something that is healthy and good to our body. Now to today's special delicacy. What are we going to prepare? Today we are going to prepare melon soup, also known as egusi soup. Egusi soup is considered by many to be a Nigerian national dish. Egusi refers to the protein-rich seeds of plants like squash, melon, and gourd, that which dried and ground became a staple ingredient in many West African and Nigerian foods. Egusi soup is a one-pot meal typically made with ground egusi, palm oil, onion, hot pepper, locust bean, African crayfish, stockfish, smoked fish, meats, some type of meat like cow leg, chicken, beef, and so on, and leafy vegetable. Other than fufu, it can be served with other Nigerian swallow foods like eba, amala, or pounded yam. It is made from egusi melon seed, which are found in the tropical parts of Nigeria and are also a subspecies of watermelon seeds. Egusi is not necessarily an original Yoruba soup, despite the distinctive style of cooking, since it is eaten by West African, from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria all the way to Ghana, where it is called agushi. However, fact remains that the soup is cooked using diverse methods, from the Edo, who cook theirs with locust beans and water leaf, to the broth like agushi soup, popular amongst the northerns. Other names of egusi include egushi, agusi, oye, and so on. Leaf vegetable typically used for egusi soup includes bitter leaf, pumpkin leaf, and spinach. Now, the ingredients for cooking our egusi soup. We'll be needing 2 cups of melon, palm oil, little or more, less depending on your preference, crayfish, locust bean, chopped spinach, red bell pepper, scotch bonnet, onion, beef, dry fish, cow leg, seasoning cube, salt to taste, and 3 cups of beef stock. Chicken stock works just as well. Now, let me take you to the journey on how to prepare egusi soup. Firstly, you cook your meat till it is tender. You add the onion, salt, and seasoning to the meat, and you cook till it is tender. Then you blend the pepper and onions together until it's smooth, and you set aside. You blend the melon, half of the second onion, and crayfish together, and you set aside as well. Then you heat the palm oil in a pan. Allow it to melt over medium heat, but don't